Today I'm following in the footsteps of one of Russia's greatest writers, Mikhail Bulgakov. His novel, The Master and Margarita, is considered one of the greatest works of 20th century literature, a story that blends satire, history, fantasy, and the supernatural. Instead of simply reading about it, I'm spending the day visiting where Bulgakov lived and walking the real streets of Moscow that inspired many of the unforgettable scenes in his masterpiece. My adventure begins at Mayakovsky metro station, where I emerge onto Triumphalnya Square, surrounded by impressive architecture from different eras of Moscow's history. I immediately notice something that feels like the perfect beginning to today's journey. A giant advertisement promoting a stage production of The Master and Margarita at the Moscow Academic Satire Theater. Nearly a century after Bulgakov wrote the novel, his story is still being performed for audiences here in Moscow. From the square, it's only a short walk to 10 Bolshaya Sodovaya Street, home of the Bulgakov Museum. Before I even step inside, I'm greeted by bronze statues of Koroviev, Woland's clever and mischievous companion, and Behemoth, or Begemot, the giant talking cat whose outrageous antics make him one of the novel's most unforgettable characters. It feels like these two are welcoming visitors into Bulgakov's strange and magical world. Inside the museum, I found an impressive collection of photographs, manuscripts, personal belongings, artwork, and exhibits dedicated to both Bulgakov's life and The Master and Margarita. Historic maps connect the novel to real locations throughout Moscow, while illustrations and artifacts help bring the story and characters to life. It was fascinating to see how closely Bulgakov's fictional world is tied to the city outside the museum walls. One room especially stood out. Visitors cross a narrow walkway through a dark gallery illuminated by glowing blue artwork inspired by the novel. In the dim light, it almost feels like you're suspended over an abyss, with only a small chain separating you from the darkness below. Whether it was simply an illusion or part of the exhibit's design, I found myself crossing carefully. It created exactly the kind of uneasy feeling that fits a story where the line between reality and the supernatural is never quite certain. Further inside, I found displays of stage productions, original scripts, books, and artwork inspired by The Master and Margarita. Editions of the novel lined the shelves in language after language, showing just how far Bulgakov's masterpiece has traveled beyond Russia. Seeing his work translated and celebrated around the world was a reminder that this uniquely Moscow story has become an international literary classic. Leaving the museum, I continued to one of the novel's most famous locations, Patriarch's Pond. This peaceful park is where Woland first encounters Ivan Bezdomny and Berlioz, setting the entire story into motion. I filmed several scenes from nearly the same camera angles used in the 2005 television adaptation before sitting down to enjoy my lunch, facing the direction where Ivan and Berlioz sat talking before everything changed. After lunch, I walked over to the nearby street corner where Berlioz meets his unforgettable fate. Standing there, it was easy to imagine the opening chapters unfolding exactly where Bulgakov described them. I filmed the intersection before continuing around the pond and eventually leaving near the Margarita Cafe, bringing this part of my literary walk through Moscow to an end. Later that day, I found myself in Akademicheski Park, where I came across an unexpected piece of history. A star-shaped memorial marks the location where units of the 329th Anti-Aircraft Artillery Regiment defended the skies over Moscow during the Great Patriotic War. It's a quiet reminder that beneath Moscow's literary heritage lies another story, the city's determination to survive one of the darkest chapters of the 20th century. In a future episode, I may continue walking with Woland by visiting the legendary Bad Apartment, apartment number 50, where Bulgakov once lived and which inspired one of the most mysterious and unforgettable locations in the Master and Margarita. As evening approached, I found my way home after spending the day walking through Bulgakov's Moscow, visiting the places where he lived, standing where his characters came to life, and discovering how deeply the Master and Margarita remains woven into the streets of the city today.